Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
An Eastern Kentucky man detained outside the Pentagon last month now faces new terroristic threatening charges here at home. Police say Charles Lawson called Bell County dispatchers dozens of times, threatening the lives of officials. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to those dispatchers about the calls.
Bell County dispatchers.
Bell County dispatchers say they received dozens of calls from one man on Monday, none of them for an emergency.
Just going on with a profanity-laced rant about his problems with government officials in Washington, D.C.
Dispatchers estimate he made 70-plus calls, interfering with first responders.
At the time I was receiving a call, I had what I thought could have possibly been a felony crime in progress.
47-year-old Charles Lawson threatened multiple Bell County officials and dispatchers as well, ultimately leading to his arrest. Just last month, Lawson was found outside the Pentagon with multiple weapons and was taken in for a mental health evaluation, then sent back home, prompting continued discussion with Bell County police and federal investigators.
We've been in contact with them and pretty much to keep them informed of the continuing problems that he's having at the current time.
Lawson was charged with second-degree terroristic threatening, harassing communications, and resisting arrest. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Lawson is being held at the Bell County Detention Center and could face more charges. What started as a fight in Clay County ended with one man being flown to a Lexington hospital with a bad stab wound. Deputies arrested 2 people as a result of the early morning call and say there are others out there they need to find in connection to the fight. WYMT's Connor James is live with more on that. Connor?
Yeah, Steve, surveillance video shows there were way more people involved than the man who was stabbed and the man they arrested there. Now, deputies here in Clay County are just looking for them, hoping to ask them some questions. Now, this all happened on Gregory Branch Road, a little bit outside of downtown Manchester. Police arrested 51-year-old Ricky Gregory, and they believe he's the man who stabbed this other person. Now, Gregory is facing a first-degree assault charge and is being held in the Clay County Detention Center. Now, a woman was arrested, not in connection with the stabbing as well, while deputies were at that fight, after that fight, I should say. Deputies say they have video showing other people in the fight that led to the stabbing. And like I said, they're really hoping to find where these people are. So if you have information, you're asked to give the department a call. They don't know what led to the fight or the stabbing, but as deputies arrived on scene this morning, they say due to how bad the wound was, they immediately had to call an ambulance service.
And he had a deep laceration to his upper torso. And his intestines were protruding.
Now, Gregory has apparently not told deputies anything. We actually called on over to the detention center to see if he'd talk with us. He declined that interview. Deputies say this is an ongoing investigation. We hope to learn more about this and hope to actually get some of that video from that fight. We'll have much more coming up tonight at 11. Steve?
All right, Connor, thank you. Deputies say one man is behind bars after a Johnson County shooting. It happened yesterday on State Route 302 in Van Leer. According to an arrest citation, this man, 42-year-old Joseph Fannin, was arguing with another man over scrap metal when Fannin reached for a gun. The 2 men struggled and Fannin pulled the trigger twice, hitting the man in the hand and torso. That victim was flown to Pikeville Medical Center. He is in stable condition. Fannin was charged with first-degree assault and taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. ATF agents are now saying explosives stolen from a construction site were taken out of Morgan County. If you watched us at 4, they previously had said they were stolen on the other side of the Wolfe County line. Now, this happened on Wilrim Road between Friday afternoon and Monday morning. The ATF is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of the explosives and or the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible. Again, they're saying now that was on the Morgan County side. Well, built in the 1980s, the Loftus Mansion in Pike County turned heads for years. Friday evening, the house went up in flames. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with members of the community about losing the iconic structure.
A house nestled in the mountains.
This was like a mansion, Beverly Hills or something, We ain't supposed to have that here.
The Loftus Mansion in South Williamson caught the eye of many driving through.
A castle on the hill.
For around 67 years, Rebecca Thornsberry calls this community her home.
For something that was so fantastic, so marvelous, that's the real crime, is that it was not utilized better.
Built in the 1980s, the mansion turned heads.
New mall, first McDonald's. The future was so bright that my town had to wear shades, like the song.
Now Paul Flippen is sad to see all that remains are charred appliances and stone.
It's kind of a symbol of what's happened to the area with the decline of the coal industry and the uprise of the PIL problem.
Friday evening, a controlled burn turned uncontrolled when the house went up in flames, spreading to the hillside.
I hate to see it go, but I hopefully can find something else to put back that will do the area some good.
While the mansion on the mountain becomes a memory. In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
We reached out to the owner of the Loftus Mansion for comment, but have not heard back. While the official start of the fall forest fire season is still about a week and a half away, forestry officials are continuing to advise people to take extra precautions as our dry stretch continues. Because we received so much rain earlier in the year, more vegetation grew throughout 2019, but a lack of rain recently means all that extra material is drying out. Rain also helps get rid of the typical fuels that spread fires more quickly.
What also tends to happen in our ecosystem is all those moist, damp conditions will also increase our decomposition rate. So the leaves that fell last year, if they are moist and damped for a long period of time, they will start decomposing and go away.
Now, this is a map of all Kentucky counties with burn bans in place in red. As you can see, many more have been added throughout the week. Now, the yellow you see there in the middle is the area that's considered in a moderate drought right now. The most recent burn bans we've received are in Knott, Letcher, Knox, Wolfe, McCreary, and Rockcastle counties. You can find a full list on our website, WYMT.com.
And of course, that drier trend has definitely continued into today. Maybe a few stray rain chances, but of course, most of us on that drier side. We'll go ahead and take you to a few of those cameras looking along US 119, US 23 into Jenkins. There's those drier conditions with plenty of sunshine over there. Looking outside the front porch here at YMT, seeing a few more clouds starting to increase. Maybe hopefully we can get a stray rain chance as we head into the rest of the evening hours. But the lucky ones have been down into parts of Harlan County, Letcher County, even Lee County, Virginia. It's definitely been getting a little bit of that rain, and they are right now. You see that here as we scan the skies on Pinpoint Doppler. Stray chance along that Lee County, Harlan County line. I'm even seeing a few stray rain chances over into Letcher County as well. So of course, probably a little bit cooler over there, seeing a 77 in Wise. A lot of us into those upper 80s, even some lower 90s, looking down into parts of the Cumberland Valley. 83 in Pikeville though, 82 in Moorhead, a little bit of those cooler spots. And those dew points are not too bad. Upper 50s down into the Cumberland Valley, which is good news. You're seeing those higher temperatures, but it's drier out there, so really just feeling hot, not feeling that mugginess. But those low to mid 60s could be a little bit on the muggy side. Overall, not too bad, but the drier trend definitely continued today. If you remember yesterday, we hit 19 days, so today makes 20 days without rain. Now, of course, that's at the National Weather Service in Jackson. So do we have any more rain on the way? I'll have that and more coming up in a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. In July, a group of people in Elkhorn City and Pike County signed a petition to place the town's current dry status on the ballot for the November election. That petition was approved in August, creating a discussion for the city that's been a hot topic more than once through the years. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on how the debate is growing as the community counts down to the November election.
Douglas Price remembers when Elkhorn City was a wet town.
Jay was beer joints. All different places in town, you know.
But Mayor Mike Taylor has memories too.
I lost a brother-in-law. Getting ready to be my brother-in-law was killed instantly by a drunk driver.
The two men represent opposing sides of an ongoing debate in Elkhorn City.
It might be a dry town, but I've seen beer cans all over town.
Price says the dry law isn't keeping people from drinking. It is just keeping local businesses from making money.
If they sold it here in town, you wouldn't drive 4 or 5 miles up there to get it.
He believes going wet could also bring in new investors.
Anytime you got alcohol in a town or sell beer or whiskey, you know business is going to come in.
But Taylor and others in the town, many from local churches, do not agree, and they have the signs to prove it.
No way they could ever make me understand that it would be good for this city.
They are happy keeping the city dry because they believe it keeps the city safe.
People will still come to Elkhorn City without alcohol.
Taylor says the city would only see a 5% tax on alcohol products and could only reinvest that into alcohol-related police enforcement, such as paying for the time spent on alcohol-related arrests.
And at this time, this city cannot afford this. It would cost the residents of this town instead of anybody else.
Taylor says he knows there is a divide in opinion, so he hopes everyone will stay civil.
It got voted down one time, and my vote will always be no.
But he also hopes the river continues to be the only thing wet about Elkhorn City. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT, Mountain News.
A forum will be held next Tuesday at Artists Collaborative Theater to allow people to discuss the upcoming vote. A Kentucky State Police investigation now involves a computer taken from the office of the Secretary of State. The Lexington Herald Leader reports the investigation is looking into how Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes and her aides used voter data. The report says the computer was used to create and maintain the voter registration system. A statement from the Secretary of State's office says the computer was taken without a warrant or subpoena. It goes on to call the seizure, quote, intimidating and harassing actions. Another setback for Kentucky's new driver's licenses. The pilot program to roll out the new IDs has overwhelmed circuit clerk offices. Many people face long lines and even longer waits to get the new IDs, and now Kentucky needs to find a fix before an October 2020 deadline. Victor Puente explains the challenges they are facing.
It's been 14 years since the Real ID Act was passed by Congress. In that time, Kentucky's been granted multiple extensions to get compliant with the law, but next year, the last of those runs out. Pilot programs in Franklin and Woodford counties were supposed to lead the rollout of the program across the state. Instead, they showed officials that rollout couldn't happen.
The staffing is an issue. Time is an issue. It's just a lot slower. And it's not the fault of the equipment. It just takes longer to do it.
The president of Kentucky's Circuit Clerks Association says they're working with the Transportation Cabinet and Administrative Office of the Courts to change that plan. The new one sees the Transportation Cabinet, not the clerk's office, issuing those real IDs, which require additional paperwork.
It just caused a lot of people to come in to get their license renewed early, and you add that on top of the people that were supposed to get their license renewed. It just created a lot of desire for people to have the real ID.
The state only has until October 1st of 2020 to make that change. After that, our current licenses won't be able to be used for domestic flight or to get into some federal facilities. You would need a passport along with your license. But those licenses would still work for driving and state purposes. The Transportation Cabinet has already taken over issuing real IDs for Franklin County. Helton says he believes they can get that new system in place in a year.
I think they have plenty of time. I think they understand. They know what they're doing.
In Franklin County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, the Real ID Act first passed in 2005. In 2013, DHS announced an enforcement plan giving states time to put the new IDs in place. According to the website, there are only 3 states and 2 American territories with extensions to be in compliance with the Real ID Act. 4 of those extensions expire next month.
And slightly cooler temperatures are possible as we head into the next few days, along with those stray rain chances. But does that continue as we head into the weekend? I'll have that and more coming up in just a little bit.